Okay, so I have my 10 rows. I'm going to hold it this way and count them for you so you can see what makes up a row. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 all across here. So now what we're going to do is finish our dishcloth. You can leave it like this if you want to. It's perfectly fine. I just like to have a nice little crisp edge here that keeps it square and intact. And then when we get finished, I'll show you how to snip the thread and tuck in your tails. So now we're going to do a single crochet stitch, which is much easier than a double crochet stitch. It's easier when we're going across our established row here, but we are also going to come down the vertical side, and I'll show you how I did it on this one, which is the easiest way, or you can do it a little bit more refined. I'll show you both ways. But right now we're just going to do single crochet stitches across this row. And because we're doing a single crochet stitch, we do still need to chain at the end, but we only need to chain one to get that up to the height of that little stitch that we're making. So you chained one, now you're going to go in both of those. Keep your work slid to the back. Grab your thread, pull it through once, and then pull it through twice. Okay. Then go at the next one, grab your thread, pull it through again. Go through, pull it through, pull it through. So a single crochet, you don't need to wrap the thread around your hook first like you do in double crochet. You simply just go in the stitch, grab the thread, pull it through. So we're going to go all the way across this row with, just slipped that one, with 10 single crochet stitches. And I know this is boring, but maybe you're doing it while I do it. So we're going to get to the end here, and then I'm going to show you how to go around the corner. Okay, so we've gotten to the end now. So in order to go around the corner, we've got our last stitch in. I'm just going to stick another one in there. Okay, this one's going to come out on that side. That just kind of gets our edges rounded like I did this one. Okay, so now we know, by looking at this, we can tell that the double crochet width, I guess you could say, which is this area, is really equal to 2 single crochet stitches. So when we go down this row with our single crochet stitches, we want to put 2 for every one of the double crochet along this vertical row here. The easiest way is just to separate that last stitch, either the last stitch or the last 2 chain stitches that you did. See, like this one you chain stitched, that one was an actual stitch, this one you chain stitched an actual stitch here. So just go up underneath that and put 2 single crochet stitches. And then go to the next one, 2. Go to the next one. Okay. A little bit more refined way of doing it is actually just picking up 1 or 2 little threads up here. So, you know, sometimes the tension's a little different, but you might see a couple of threads here. You're just going to stick your needle in, do one there, and just kind of find another little opening that allows you to pick up like 2 threads and do that. I'll do another one so we can compare the 2 ways I'm doing it. it's not like a science, an exact science on this stitching the end here. Okay, so you can see when I did these first 2 holes, I just went in the hole. On this one, I found some stitches to pick up and I went through them to do these little crochet stitches across here. I kind of prefer this way, even though it makes these holes bigger than it does over here, but I just prefer to do it that way, and so that's the way I'm going to do the entire thing here. So I am going to continue on doing my 2 single crochet stitches for every double crochet stitch down my rows of 10, and I'll end up with about 20. Don't forget you did an extra one here on the end, but you know, you don't necessarily have to count this exact. It's a dishcloth, you know. So I'm going to continue on down. I'm trying to get to my starting tail thread so I can show you how to tuck that in when you get down here to this corner. So I'm going to do this for a couple more rows. All right, last row. Now, you've got this long tail here that you started with. I'm simply going to pretend that it's part of my stitch work here. It's part of this very first chain stitch row I did. I'm just going to tuck it in all of my stitches. So like we did at this corner down here, I'm going to add one more chain stitch in this hole, and it happens to be the hole for these stitches. No, I'm sorry, it isn't. I put one more in there. Now we've got to pick up the back side of these chain stitches, which it looks different than it did on the top. Well, it looked like this on the top, but see how different that looks because we're at the very bottom of where we started. But I'm going to keep my little tail thread there. I'm just going to go down and grab one of these, not necessarily 2 like I have been. You can try to grab 2 just to get more on there, but I'm just going to grab each one of these little bumps I see, which was a stitch, and there ought to be 20 of them, and I'm going to go across here, and I'm leaving my tail thread just laying right there on top, and it will soon disappear under here, sorta. You're always going to have a little bitty piece of thread sticking out somewhere as it stretches along, but this is just the typical way they're hidden, one of the typical ways they're hidden. And then when I get around to where I started these single crochet stitches, I'll show you how to tie it off and hide the tail of where you're ending. So as you can see, I'm coming to the end of the starter tail yarn, and I'm just about got it done. And you know, it's going to stick out a little bit in places. You can trim it off, but it'll just come back. But it's a dishcloth. So there's that. And so I'm going to go all the way around and come back to where I started, and then I'm going to show you how to tie off the thread.